Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in the disability community. What was that journey like?
Okay, well, my name is Emily Middleton, and I'm a physical therapist in Dallas. And I got involved in physical therapy actually as a college student when my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, got injured playing football. I was an athlete myself, and I saw his rehabilitation journey, and he had encouraged me and said he thought that it would be a good fit for me as a career. And I started volunteering in my local physical therapy clinic, and here I am today.
Mm-hmm. So you specialize in sports orthopedics. What's that all about?
Yeah, so sports and orthopedics is one of the loves of my life. So as a young kid growing up, I played sports and even through college, and it just was a natural fit for me as PT as well. I treat patients that generally are getting injured doing active or athletic things, and really my job is to help them get back to doing the things they love. And we treat everything from pain, pre-surgery ailments, as well as patients post-operatively as well.
Mm-hmm. So what's the process of designing a sports orthopedic for an athlete? So like basically what I'm asking is what goes into that? Is there like some sort of process involved in like building some sort of orthopedic device? What's going on there?
We use lots of different interventions to help with sports and orthopedics. You know, things that are kind of just what we think of maybe traditional devices. So things like canes and crutches and walkers, those are kind of the standard. But in the sports world, which is also part of my job, there's lots of assistive equipment that we get involved with prosthetics and orthotics on that can help patients get back to their more athletic or recreational based activities. So either adaptive wheelchairs or adaptive equipment or adaptive limbs. Um, Usually it's a team-based effort. PTs help with the design and they are really the experts in looking at the movement that's required for those activities. And then we work with other team members to get those devices and equipment to assist in the rehab journey.
Mm-hmm. My next question is, how do you measure whether a sports orthopedic fits the person's needs? In other words, what sorts of things do you have to consider?
That's a great question. So we consider kind of their baseline abilities and mobility. So we're looking at things like their range of motion and strength, which is a really big one. Does the patient have enough strength to be able to utilize the equipment we're recommending? And then we're also assessing what the needs of the kind of activity are. So someone that plays basketball's needs, it's going to be very different than someone who's rowing or running or doing a more endurance based activity. So we're looking at kind of what the patient's abilities are and then what the resources are, as well as what the needs of the sports are.
Mm-hmm. What sorts of testimonials have you heard from people that you've worked with?
Generally, our patients really like coming to see us. We kind of sometimes have this joke that PT stands for pain and torture, which we hope is a joke. So it is a process, but we are really trying to get people back to the things they love. And so generally, patients are really excited when they can play with their grandkids without pain or return to their athletic sports in a way that they had been participating before. So think patients sometimes complain about having to come to therapy and work really hard, but at the end of the day, I think they're super excited to be able to do the things they love to do.
Mm-hmm. You know, how can orthopedic sports, create a sense of independence and autonomy for an individual with mobility impairment or any other condition for that matter?
That's a great question. Recreational activities and sports activities can be really meaningful for patients. I tell my patients all the time that our bodies, regardless of their baseline abilities, were made to move. And so when we as physical therapists can help people that have limited ability to move a little bit more freely or with less pain, that can be very meaningful. Like I said, our bodies are made to move. So our bodies overall are healthier when we can keep them active and moving. So I think that's kind of the biggest message is keeping people as active as possible and engaged in things that are generally pretty fun too.
Mm-hmm. Cool.